Hi everybody, welcome back to the channel, and if you're new here then welcome. My name's Lisa and I love sewing and I love costume design and all arts and crafts really, and I love creating content around all my different projects that I do, and I like to take people through the creative process that I take. So today I'm going to be taking you through the process of making a summer dress, and it's going to be a simple A-line dress. So it'll be very easy to get this type of pattern anywhere, any pattern company. You can probably find it on Amazon. If I do find a pattern similar to it, I will try and link it below. The pattern that I will be using is from a video that I did last year where I took one of my old dresses apart and I created the pattern again. So that is what I'll be using today. If I do manage to find a pattern very similar, I will link it below and you can use this video as a tutorial. This gorgeous psychedelic fabric is what I'm going to be creating my dress out of. I've had it for quite some time and I made Simon a beautiful wizard costume out of it years ago and I was extremely jealous. My first steps were to get out my pattern that I created last year, make sure all the bits were still together and arrange it all nicely on the fabric. Ideally I would have liked to have had the pattern all going one way with the dress, but I realised I'm going to end up using quite a bit of fabric and I'm a little bit concerned about running out, but also I wanted to try and save some of the fabric to try and make Simon a waistcoat. So I think because the fabric's really busy, I'm hoping that it'll look alright if the pattern's not going the same way on all the different panels. It does take quite a long time, to be honest, to organise all your different pieces, but it's important to get it right and pin it all down nice and secure so that when you do come to cut it out, it's just a lot easier for you because you've taken the time to secure the pattern properly to the fabric. So then all the pieces come out the right shape and none of them are too big or anything. So it is important to take your time with this step, it is quite time consuming. Then once you've got all your pieces cut out nicely, you can start to pin them together. Then just take it to your sewing machine and do a running stitch. So here we are. I've just sewn it all together, I just forgot to film it. Well, I'm sure it won't be the last time that I do that, but here's me trying it on and just quickly overlocking the edges. I just realised I forgot to turn my camera on while I was sewing, but I've quickly put it all together and I've overlocked all the seams because I realised the fabric does fray quite a bit. So I'm just going to kind of leave it like this, you know, I really like it. I just need to put the zip in the back. And I think I might need to just quickly go over some of the seams again because it could do with taking in a little bit, maybe on the waist. I'm going to see how it fits when I've got the zip in. And I'm not going to put a lining in it because the fabric's really thick. It's quite like denim. It's really nice, isn't it? Yeah, very excited. So I'm going to get on with that now. I'm going to put the zip in. Well, so I absolutely love this fabric. I first bought some years ago and I made Simon this amazing wizard's costume out of it. Just show you close up. It's like proper magical, the print. So I made him this amazing wizard suit and it took loads of the fabric, just loads and loads of fabric, about 6 meters or something. And I made a few other little bits and pieces. I made a top for somebody and I made a bag. I made a couple of cushions out of it. And I just sort of got to thinking, actually, I never made myself anything really nice out of that beautiful fabric. And then I couldn't find it again for years. And then I just so happened to stumble across it on Etsy a few years ago. So I just bought a few meters of it. And I'm just so happy. I'm just so excited about this dress, honestly. I've been waiting for it for years now. About 10 years, I think. So I'm going to put a concealed zip in the back of it because I really like concealed zips. So I will show you quickly where are my zips. Yeah. For anybody who doesn't know what a concealed zip is, here it is. Basically, you sew it in such a way that you cannot see the zip. So the way you install it into the fabric, just trying to show you, it's designed to look as though it's just a seam, so it'd just be like this, the way it goes in, so you can't see it at all, and it just leaves a really nice finish on your garment. So I will just show you. So it'll go along, so I've opened it up, we'll pin it into place, and once it's pinned into place, if you can see this groove, so these are where the teeth are, you can see the teeth are here along the edge. You pull them to one side, you see this groove, and that's where you stitch. So you stitch it as close to the teeth as you can without getting on the teeth, and then once it's sewn in, it will sit like that. So the teeth are on the very edge. So then when you zip it up, you can't see the seam. So this is a better angle. You can see here where I've pinned the zip. I'm just going to move the teeth to one side. If you can see, there's a groove, and that's where you want to do your stitching. I would highly recommend doing a practice concealed zip if you haven't done one before, because it can be really frustrating when you accidentally sew over the teeth and you have to unpick the whole thing. You can see here, I think I could have got a little bit closer to the teeth, but just for example's sake, this is pretty alright. So the zip's in. I'll just step back and show you. La la la. See the back? I'm just going to take it in a little bit. So I've just pinned it at the sides here because it's just a little bit big at the top. And I'm going to just pin it in a little bit on the waist as well and just take it in a little bit. But other than that, I think it's a really nice fit. I'm really happy with it. What do you think? Don't worry if a garment that you've created doesn't fit right, because you can always alter it. Unless a pattern's been made, specifically to your sizes, then it is most likely going to need altering. Once I had altered it and I was happy with the fit, I decided to just quickly do the hem. So I overlocked it first and I turned the hem over 1 centimetre and I did a running stitch along. Right, so I'm going to be adding some bias tape now, just to the V of the neck. So I've got this double-sided bias tape. What we're going to do is going to open it out and we're going to place it along the edge on the inside of the dress, and we're going to sew in this crook here. So in case you missed that, we place the bias binding all around where we want it to be, and we sew from the inside first. So I'm just getting round to the front now where this V neck's going to be, and what I need to do is pin straight over the V as if it doesn't exist. So basically you've got to straighten the fabric out and you've got to pin straight across. So don't worry about any of the bobbliness for now. We're going to just pin it all into place, and then I'll show you what we're going to do when we come to sew it. And back to the sewing machine. So I'm just going to sew in that gap, in that dip, on the double-sided bias tape like I just showed you. So I'm on the wrong side of the fabric to begin with. And remember to take the pins out as you go. And I'll show you when we come up to the V-neck what we're going to do. Okay? Remember to backstitch. Right, so we are just coming up to the front part of the dress now where we've got that V-neck going on. And as you can see, you get a lot of this gathered fabric going on, but it's alright. What we need to do is just need to pull the fabric straight, and we need to just make sure that when it stitches that there's no gathering on the front part. So we just need to have, like, sort of smooth it out with your fingers. So you get like the excess fabric down here, but as long as it's flat and you're sewing flat straight over the bend, we'll be okay. Okay. So we're back to the front of the dress now. This is how it's looking so far with the bias tape. So the next step will be to turn it round and pin it, and we're going to sew on the very edge of the bias tape all the way round. And we need to be careful that we don't let this thread show through. When we get to the front, it's going to sit a little bit funny at first once we've done it, because obviously it's a straight piece of bias tape, so it's going to make the front really rounded. So I will show you what we will do with that once we've sewn it. Okay, so now the binding tape's on the front. You can see it's got like a curved look at the front of it. So what we're going to do is just going to turn it around, right way around. I'm just going to fold it in half. We're going to get the front, to line it up a bit, and you can see we've got this extra bit here, so we don't want it to point like this. We want to sew down here and then cut the excess off, so it's like we're going to be putting a little bit of a dart in the front of it. So I've just took it to the machine and I've just sewn that dart. I'm going to turn it around the right way. And you can see we've got a nice sharp V-neck. Now what we're going to do now is cut the excess off, and we're just going to give that a little press, and that'll sit beautifully. I love getting to the end of a project and pressing everything nice into place. So while I'm doing this, I'm also going to press all my seams. Be very careful with your iron and make sure that it's not on too high, because you don't want to burn it. And here's the final result. I'm so happy. It took me about 4 hours to create this dress, and it even had a bit of time to make Simon his waistcoat as well. So please look out for the video for that as well. Thank you so much for watching. Will you stand up though? I don't like that angle, because you're looking up at me and you'll be able to see my massive chin.